The thing I'm most excited to talk about is like both. Like today, I really want to lean into our over-the-counter hearing aids. I think that's going to be an exciting discussion for today. And then also what we're doing with Road to Zero. I think those are the topics.
I'm sure that's what we'll expect to see. I
haven't read the comments.
Trying to get the live chat pulled up right now.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what a lot of people want to know.
So we'll probably address some of those things.
Yeah. So
don't forget IBO.
It's an IBO. Well. Oh.
That said,
we
are live.
Hey,
welcome everybody. Sony After Hours Support. My name is Derek.
I am Larry.
Yes, that is true.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. So here's the deal. Okay, let's set the tone a little bit here. Okay. Out of respect that this is Sony After Hours Support, and our goal, of course, is to listen to all of our fans and all of our customers and your wants and needs, and especially if you're looking for some help with your Sony product.
That's important.
We already know, we were just joking, clearly, what I'm going to say 93%, 93.6% roughly of what the conversation will be. We know. And I just loaded this up now, the chat, finally.
Yeah.
So I can take a look to see exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
That said, I do just want to let everybody know, we will have these discussions as much as we can.
Yes.
There are some things that I'm trying to think, because we want to be real on all fronts as much as we can. A lot of these questions that have come up, we still want to get some clarifications or some whys.
Sure.
And but I do want to be respectful for those people that are here to get some support as well. So we'll kind of prioritize those comments, and then we'll remain with this.
And if I could say
conversation,
one more thing, the idea of us starting this show earlier is because we're committed to staying here and delivering this until either we run out of batteries, which we have ample supply, or until you all have had all your questions and we've had all the great discussions. So we're here as long as you guys want us to be here.
You have just opened Pandora's box.
Yeah, but that's what we're going to do.
So says Larry. I'll just walk away. No, we're going to talk about some stuff. But that said, there is already a ton of stuff happening.
Yes.
And I think we need to start.
No, before we do that.
Larry wants to start.
Before we do that, I listen, I know what we're going to be talking about, but there is something I want to talk about before we get to that. I'm going to upset a ton of people when I say this.
Oh, you never upset anybody.
We recently have been playing around with a brand new mic on our cameras. And so hopefully you guys can see this. This is it's the backside of it, but this is the ECM M1. Okay. I don't know why we grabbed this mic and started playing with it this week, but the fact that it has all of these multiple controls on the back of it, I know people are getting upset right now, but because it has all of these multiple controls on the back, this is something that I'm going to just take without permission because I want to start doing videos with this, because the fact that we can control the whole sound isolation to be able to give that immersive experience. Wow, there's that word again. That experience when we're recording our content. I want to test this. So anyway, if you are someone that does any content creation on your own or anything like that, look into the ECM M1. I am experimenting with this as an alternative for my lab and my Bluetooth mic. So anyway, okay, got that out of the way. So it's dope. All right, here we go. Sorry.
There's a lot here. I'm trying to.
I had to show. You know how passionate I am about cameras.
You need to relax, sir.
Okay, I'm calm.
I got you. It's all good. It's all good.
All right,
that said, I do want to quickly, of course, say hello to everybody that's here. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. If you are new to this, of course, the purpose of what we're doing is try to support you with the questions, as I mentioned before. So if you have any questions, comments, throw them in the chat here. If there is something that's a little bit more involved, as in, a little bit more of a back and forth in, let's say, deciding the right product, we do have one-on-one consultations available, link in the description, as well as you can email us too, especially if it's something like, here's a complicated thing that I have going on.
Yes.
I do also want to add this for those of you who are here for support. If you have not reached out to Sony support, it's never a bad idea to do so, even if it is something that might be minor. But just to make sure anything is logged, because I have seen people that have emailed us or said, I've had this issue for 6 months
Yep.
And we're like, okay, did you reset it? Did you? Oh, that fixed the issue. It's like, don't go through that stuff for 6 months. You know, if there's an issue, let's try to get that taken care of ASAP.
Right.
That said, just quick shout outs here too. We got Michael Beckerman, Robert Conrad. Yep. We've got let's see, Will Tech, of course. Were we on time? I don't know. Will, I'm sure, is going to bring some good questions here. Smokin' is here. Welcome.
What's up?
Halon, RNA. I haven't seen that name in a minute. Indecisive Mess. That sounds fun. Joey B, Monica, Ronan, and that's who. Geez, there's more. SD is back. All right, too. Yes. Awesome. So we got some good people here. We got some good questions already. Shall we begin?
Yeah, I got the big bottle of water today. Let's go.
You're ready.
Let's go.
So,
all right.
Where do you want to start? Because to be fair, yes, the announcement came out this morning. Many of you probably saw it. We have been watching the comments to get an idea of what the sentiment is.
Yep.
And we do appreciate, I want to say this to those of you who are here that are saying, hey, I have a question about this.
Right.
We have also seen many people that are just like, oh man, too bad they're not doing that. Too bad they're not doing that. Yep. When sometimes they don't have all the information. Correct. Some stuff has been incorrect, but also there is some rightful, man, I wish they did this.
Yep.
Totally get that. And we're going to try to address as much as we can.
Yep.
Because, Larry and I, we've been talking all day about how do we
best
do this.
And honestly, I mean, I love your demeanor, and you read the information, and Derek he's very, let me take this note down. Let's look into this. Let's make sure we have the information. I'm reading comments and I'm like ripping my shirt. Like I'm like all like emotional about it, because the thing is, because there's so many things, to your point earlier, that we're going to want to say, but can't say. But maybe that's a segment we do a little bit later.
Yeah. And to be clear, we're in an interesting position because of what we do. We are extremely customer centric. Not that the company is not, they are. Yep. But because we worked in retail, yes, we have, like, for many, many years, we get that there are the individuals that are like, I want a perfect thing for me. Yep. And I totally 100% understand that. Yep. I am the same way. Why can't I have this thing this one way that I want right now at a great price? You know, all those things. And I want to say that out of respect for everybody's opinion. And, you know, I respect that people are like, you should have done this. You messed up on this. It is not our place to say that, you know, but we understand your perspective. And it matters. And it absolutely does matter. And we will have these discussions out of respect of us keeping our jobs. Just going to put that out there. There are some things that, well, sometimes we don't have the whys behind a decision. But we'll do our best to share what we can. And honestly, we will be the conduit.
There it is.
Of sharing information and feedback in these questions with our team. They already know that, because we've already shared some of that too. So we will have more to come in the future as well.
Man, let's get into it.
Yes, sorry, I was talking too much.
No. Let's go. Where do you want to start? It's so many.
There is a lot.
It's so many. I can't even scroll to the top now.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the thing, is I don't want to fall behind out of some of these questions. So there will be many that I think we've kind of grouped together. Yeah. And we might find that as we address some, we're addressing others at the same time. Yep. I think it makes sense to first talk about the most common thing we've seen.
Yes. I'm looking at it, yes.
Can we summarize the announcements first? Because I don't think, for those who
are not aware. Thanks, John.
I just assumed that is your mic on?
Is your mic on, John?
Your mic's on.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys could hear John, because again, he has this thing where he's like, I'm going to put in my mic.
Summarize the announcement.
Now.
Okay. Yeah. Give your summary, and now I will give my more aggressive summary.
I mean, I wasn't really prepared for the summary, and I don't want to give too much detail because there's a lot of information. We'll be here forever.
This is a summary.
We did announce our 2025 lineup this morning, which there are videos for. You can check it out and get some of the details on that. There are are all the overviews posted yet as well?
The TVs are. The
TVs have posted. We'll have some stuff on the BRAVIA Theater products coming out tomorrow as well. but we did announce the newer pieces of the lineup. So the BRAVIA 2 Mark II.
Yes.
It's weird saying it out loud.
Okay.
Now it's
We'll get used to it.
Trying to hold it back for so long. The BRAVIA 5.
Yes.
The BRAVIA 8 Mark II.
Yes.
Which is, we'll talk about that. I'm
Definitely
sure.
talk about that.
As well as the audio theater products. So we had the System 6, Theater Bar System 6, and the Theater Bar 6.
I love your summary.
That's very generic.
You ready for my summary?
Yeah, here we go.
It's fast.
I'm sure it is.
It's fast.
Go ahead.
BRAVIA 2 Mark II, we brought a TV to market that everybody asked how come the US didn't have last year. So we're excited about that. That's thing one. BRAVIA 5, what we've done is we've basically said if you're still using full array local dimming as a backlight system for your mid-tier products, then you're behind the times. We've gone mini LED, replacing our X90L. Sweet. Then we introduced the BRAVIA 8 Mark II, which was the successor to the A95L, which, despite the fact that it wasn't quite named what everybody wanted it to be named, it still delivered on an improvement over the A95L. Those are the things that I'm excited about with TV. That's my summary.
There you go. And you had a better plan. I don't know why you started with me. Why don't you say, hey, I'm going to summarize it?
I've been stewing on this all day.
You should, yeah, so you should have just taken it. Come on.
No, but I needed you to deliver the proper.
Yeah, so we are behind on our questions.
Let's go.
Here.
Come, let's go. Let's
go.
All
right. So yeah, again, please understand there are certain things we'll get more information on. We'll answer the best of our ability. And some of the whys we may not have, but we want to please continue to share your thoughts. We are reading the comments. We are not only here, but also post live. We'll be looking at those as well. That said, all right. So I can't scroll all the way to the top either, it seems. But let's see. Looking at a couple here. Well, Tech.
Okay. I expected that to be the first
He's got one of the first ones.
Yeah, I expected
the successor to A95L is simply a panel with 25% improved brightness. Same processor, same MediaTek. How is this a successor with no improvements except for brightness and no 77-inch? Totally disappointed. I hate to hear that, honestly, but
especially from
understand.
Will. Yeah,
I get it. Well, I can tell the type of person that Will is, and a lot of you that are here that are sharing this. You love premium, you love the tech, and you love to talk about it, you love to learn about it. You're our people, right? Which is awesome.
Yep.
And I totally understand that we are the type of people that every year we're like, yes, give me something that is just gonna literally blow my socks off my feet and melt my brain with awesomeness. I always wish for that every single year.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where the landscape seems to be changing a little bit in the sense of technology moves so fast. And I'm not saying this is an excuse by any means. This is my interpretation of kind of where things are going. And there are so many factors that go into the decisions I am not a part of. My understanding of business, which is small, because I've only just worked in retail and this, so very low level for me. They have to keep in mind the customer desires, but unfortunately, that is a wide swath of people. There are always going to be those people that want the premium, ready to drop the money. The best thing you got, I'll take 6 of them, put one in my bathroom on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And I love that for those people. That is not me.
Right.
I have not. I have an A95L, and prior to that, I had an A1E. So it was a 6-year gap.
Yeah.
You know, but there are people that are going to be ready to drop the money on the latest and greatest, or at the very least, maybe they don't buy it, but they just love to learn and talk about it.
Yeah, I think there's something else also as I'm looking at it. Oh, this is gonna be dangerous.
Wait.
Yeah. When we're looking for innovation, usually what spawns innovation is trying to truly improve on something that had obvious deficiencies. So when you have one brand that came out with an OLED system last year that was supposed to be the answer to QD-OLED and didn't quite hit the mark, they were forced to innovate and try to create another alternative to continue to try to climb the mountain to accomplish what QD-OLED had done. But see, it's more the key to it all, as we saw with the King of TV shootout, is it's so much more than just a QD-OLED panel, because there were two QD-OLEDs in that competition, a third place finish and a first place finish. And if you look at those two products and you try to see what they had similar, and you come down to the fact that the canvas was what they had identical, the difference became the processor. Now, that brings me to the second point that I want to make. Here is where we fail as a company that focuses on engineering, not marketing. If TV manufacturer X only updates the functionality of a processor on the same cycle of a new TV coming out, so that they can say 2023 has this, 2024 has this, and 2025 has this, that's a clear marketing message where consumers can say, this is why I need to upgrade. Mm-hmm. But because we take our processor and evolve it over the life of the product, we don't have generation numbers on our processors.
Right.
I assure you, our 2021 or 2022 XR processor is definitively different than the 2025 ones. So our approach to this is the BRAVIA 8 Mark II has the current generation QD-OLED panel available, right? We haven't gone matte finish or any of those things because we've seen and tested how that deteriorates PQ, right?
Yeah, but to be fair,
it is.
Some people
100%
like the benefits.
And that's what I'm trying to say is that if there, and we've said this before on a show. I know sometimes I get like passionate. I don't want to come across as being dismissive to anybody. There is no one perfect TV that everybody in the masses goes, that's the one for me.
Right.
That doesn't exist, right? So keeping true, when we want to keep true to who we are as a brand, PQ is important. Cinema's coming home, what we do there. And so everything we do is around developing that incredible PQ. I'm just saying all that to say that I wish we had XR Gen 5, V5 processor, or XR Ultimate, or XR Extreme, because then people would get excited about it. Truth be told, and tell me if I'm wrong, because I know you will. If the BRAVIA 8 Mark II came out and it had XR Extreme processor and literally does the same different things that it does from last year's processor, people would be celebrating and excited just because we simply named it something differently.
There would definitely be a fair amount of people that would see it that way. And I know that there are going to be some people that would scrutinize it, to be fair, and I totally get that. And I think a lot of those people are here.
And I love that. And so, and
understandable.
And Will, and just last thing just with Will, because Will, I have so much respect for you. I'm just thinking about this, and this would be helpful for me, I guess, and for us to communicate. It's, other than the new panel on BRAVIA 8 Mark II versus A95L, what more were we looking for with respect to what's currently available and currently is scalable from an affordability standpoint, right? Because we could make CLEDs in 75-inch and charge $18,000 for each one, and nobody would buy it, right? So I'm just curious, because I'd like to know, especially from Will, with his knowledge base, I'd love to know how we could, what's missing, if there's something.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sort of rings true. Like we're definitely willing to kind of hear, you know, because I have seen some people say like, oh, it's not enough. What would that be? And does it make sense to just call in exactly what the competitors are doing?
Yeah.
And I understand that at the same time, I'm trying to choose my words carefully too, because our companies do different things, have stakes in different technologies.
Yeah. Sometimes
there's different incentives to the decisions that are made. And I know that may not help in the grand scheme of things, but yeah.
I love Will.
There's
so much. Yeah.
No, and these are great concerns, but we do want to better sort of understand what was expected, you know, and especially in an iterative model, which some people may be like, okay, well, because of its timing of release, definitely is a little different than the norm.
Yeah.
but it is a TV that did perform extremely well, as we know. And yeah, what else could we do different? Not that it's going to change anything at this point, to be fair, but we want to understand that information.
I think what I really understand, really from a lot of the discussions in there, and this is, I mean, we can call out anybody on this, but of course there was an appetite for 77-inch. See, a lot of there is the segment that's like, man, I'm excited about BRAVIA 8 Mark II, but I wish there was 77 or 83.
Yeah, that's the question to get to now.
Yeah,
because I was just about to read one from Robert, and that's sort of the question.
Yep.
I don't know how. I know we've been talking about how do we best talk about this, because it is carefully for sure. I understand, and again, this kind of goes back to, I guess you could say, like a customer's ability to purchase year over year in an iterative type of way, or has space, and that's awesome. More power to you if you can do that. I love that.
Yes, for real.
It is one of those things that Sony has to somehow find a balance, from my understanding of a business thing. And again, I do not have access to their information. I'm not part of their conversations. I literally took one business class, so I don't understand that stuff. But I've worked with a lot of retail stuff over the many years and kind of have a general idea of the generalities of how this stuff works. But it is weighing the balance of where do you shift, because do they force this stuff, which may increase a price that now people are saying, well, now it's too expensive, no one's going to buy it, but it's available, or decide to maybe do it a different. I don't know, because we don't even know anything about pricing, so we have to wait and see what's going to happen. But that's how many people in the grand scheme. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you have to go big or it's not premium. It's different for everybody. It's subjective. There are people who a premium TV for them is a 55-inch because of their space or budget limitation. And that's okay too. But I think there is a lot of people who are like, I want this. Yeah. And I hate to say this. I don't know if it's the majority. Okay. And I think there's a balancing act. Do I wish we had exactly what, again, I've said this before, every single one of you to say, I want a TV that has this, 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 and this. Oh, I wish Can you make it for me? And I could say yes and get it to you. I would absolutely do that.
In a heartbeat. Unfortunately,
that's just not how it is. But anyway.
It is, man. You know what else I want to do though? Can we shift this a little bit? Just a tiny bit. Yeah. This feels like it's heavy. It feels so, I'm so excited about what we announced.
Yes.
And I think the way I'm translating this is there was equal or greater levels of anticipation because of the fandom and support of the brand.
Yes.
That there was this delivery, the amount of where's RGB backlight? You're like, there was a lot of that also because of the excitement that announcement, was. So I get it.
Yes. I get it. I agree. And I think ultimately too, keep this in mind. You haven't seen them yet.
Yeah. Man.
Right? And that is one of the things that we are definitely looking forward to seeing, of course, too. We have had a chance. I mean,
it's right there.
There they are.
It's the one right behind there.
That one. That one is an 8 Mark II.
It's 8 Mark II.
Don't be so quick to judge on this too, because this is going to be a good year for what we have, right?
Yes.
That there's going to be answers for so many people. The people that are looking for, again, that very specific thing, should still consider what we have available.
100%.
A95L, I don't have a reason to force myself to find the money to upgrade right now, because yes, it is a difference. It is a noticeable difference and improvement. Absolutely. I've seen them side by side. But for my purposes and my budgets, this is not my year to upgrade yet. And I look forward to what we have in the future. But if those of you who are kind of staggering, generally people don't buy year over year.
Yeah.
How about us A1E customers?
Yeah, I mean that's that. Yeah, A1E. That's where I was and went from A1E to A95.
BRAVIA 8 Mark II, Mark I would be a great option for you as well.
That's true. That would be an upgrade.
That'd be an upgrade.
That would be an upgrade.
Yeah, I have the A95K, which is not on the spectrum as high as your A95Ls. I like to remind people, but I have not felt the need to. I haven't felt the need to replace that. So there you go. All right, there's so much I've seen that I want to talk about. so much.
I would say this. I think that kind of what I'm reading too in a lot of the chat and understanding that there is a lot of tech knowledge in this chat.
Yeah.
In experience in researching and being on forums and getting the communications and stuff like that. I would challenge everybody to wait to see everything in the end.
Yes.
I am a person who would often talk to customers in stores that they would bring in a spec sheet and say, A is bigger than B, I want A. And then I would show them A versus B for their purposes, and they would probably say themselves, oh, then why does it show this? I can't guarantee it's going to be the case because there are so many things that factor into that, but I would guarantee that you all should well, I don't want to say guarantee, it doesn't make sense. I can guarantee that. But I would definitely recommend to try to see it first before locking into this. Oh, you messed up. I'm moving over.
Yes.
Give us a chance and then decide. When you have seen side by side,
that's the key.
That's going to be the difference altogether. Yeah. So that's my ask. To be fair.
That's a good point.
And I will say this: the goal, I guarantee you, is not to push away the fans and the enthusiasts. Sony is about quality of the product, 100% picture quality and capability, but there are a lot of those balances too.
100%. Robert Conrad has a question. Hey guys, thanks for all you do. You're welcome. Thank you, Robert, for always being here. I assume the 77 BRAVIA 8 Mark II will come out once the 77 A95Ls are depleted. Not sure what to do. Don't want to spend, $5,000 twice in 1 year to upgrade.
Understandable.
God, this is we're not able to speak about it. We have no, as far as we know right now, I'm really going to get in trouble when I say this. As far as we know right now, the idea is to continue 77 A95L for the rest of the year. What that price point is and how it may fluctuate or adjust throughout the year, that's a different discussion that we have no visibility on. That is the strategy, because the A95L is such a great television. That if that person who was, a little hesitant because of maybe, last year's price of it, if it differs this year, it may be, that may be the best TV they could have purchased.
Right.
So,
a
good question.
It is a good question.
I hate we don't have an answer, a definitive answer on it.
So just to hit a couple of these kind of quick as well. We are still currently running 2 HDMI 2.1 ports.
Helen 181
as well. Was that on that question too? Yeah, because it's come up a couple times. Let's see, which Google version? I don't think we've checked on that to see which one.
What's the current one? 14? Where are we at on A95L? I could check, but
I don't want to say the wrong number because I want to say 14, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not 100% sure. Well, let's double check on that too. But again, that's one of those ones that I still want to better understand. And call me an idiot for not knowing. I am totally fine. I'm not the smartest person in any room, even by myself. But I do want to better understand the strong desire to have the newest ones. My research, and again, if I've missed something, please tell me and correct me wrong. Send us an email. That most of those upgrades are typically around accessibility functions, which we have built in within the TV that aren't reliant on Google for them. And then I know that in
security,
the iterations, some of the security
patches,
and some of the iterations that actually, yes, you might see a little bit of sharpness in the menu, or the home screen. I get it; it's premium TV; it should look sharp, but I'm not trying to say this in a defensive way. I'm never at my home screen for more than a few seconds. But it's, to each their own. I'm not.
Most of the development on the Android operating systems for Google TV are designed around things like NVIDIA Shield and Chromecast or whatever their new 4K, whatever the new streamer is because those standalone external devices don't have the built-in accessibility features and security and stuff that we do. And quite frankly, this is not even just a Wii, right? you and I have, because we've talked to, I feel like we've talked about this for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
We keep digging and searching and looking, but we haven't found anything that has just been definitive. Now, some of the things that we've noticed recently, as Google changed their interface to add the home screen, the home options, right? Your home menu for your cameras and all that. A lot of that required the latest version of Android for that to happen. You go back and look at our TVs; those that have that. The others don't.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things, but of course our TVs support that. So everything else,
I'm willing to be schooled on that as well.
Yeah.
So
we should talk to our Google point of contact.
Yes, we need to do that for sure. So just kind of update on some of the stuff as we kind of still work through some of these things. Tyrone asked, will there be a new Sony BRAVIA Theater U? Nothing was announced at this time. Theater U is awesome. Still use it every day. It is amazing. I would be very interested to see what would come after that. I don't know what it'd be because it's awesome.
Yeah.
As is as well.
Renee. Renee's question: have there been any improvements to BRAVIA 7 wide-angle viewing and reflection handling? I will get one when they do. So interesting point. R space ENAY. I'm looking at John sweating to find the comment to post it.
it's up high on the list
sorry.
That's past my cutoff.
It's past your cutoff line. Anyway, just a quick point of clarification. The features that you're talking about, anti-reflection and both wide-angle viewing capability, are physical structures that cannot be handled in software update on BRAVIA 7. There have been updates that have handled contrast performance, backlight control, and things like that on the BRAVIA 7, which loosely can give you that benefit with off-axis viewing, but looking for, there's not more than the physical structure that's that already is on like the 9, for example.
Yep. Okay, so still kind of going through this stuff. I do apologize. There's a lot here.
Yeah.
But please keep the feedback going. And again, if you want to share more insights, send us an email as well. There's been a couple comments about some very specific things, and I totally get, especially some people. Kind of makes me sad to hear some of the things being said from some people that we've had in here a couple times, but I get it.
Yeah.
But if you do have like a specific spec that you're challenging, like send us an email with some information on some of that stuff, especially the source of where that stuff is coming from too, because I know you said you're doing this, like you got something
I'm agreeing with you. Oh, okay. No. That was affirmation. Yeah.
Because I do want to address this too, because there was actually a comment in one of ours that said, "Oh, too bad they're not using the latest." I forget how it was phrased. Something about not using the latest QD-OLED
version or something, generation,
whatever it was. And then there was other people like, "Oh man, that's terrible." Like, we are using the latest generation QD-OLED panel.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
Yeah, right. You're right here.
We are using the latest generation. We are using the latest generation QD-OLED panel on the BRAVIA 8 Mark II. So
clip that.
Yeah, it is something that I do just want to make sure that when there are concerns about some stuff, I do want us to be challenged, and there are a lot of smart people that understand and have a lot of resources and people that they've talked to get some information. But sometimes we want to understand where that came from, because sometimes the source may not be accurate, or there may be a miscommunication in something. I've seen it happen, and we want to make sure that we are as transparent as possible and as accurate as possible.
Yep. John, do you see Shahid Khan's question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll find it.
How do you turn off tone mapping on 65 Sony Z9F Master Series while in game mode? Is it better for the TV to tone map the HDR or the PS5 Pro?
Where is I don't know where this is.
There it is. It's right there right now.
Off tone mapping. Series 1 game mode. I don't know the menu of that one off the top of my head
Z9F?
to know. Yeah.
I don't know. I would, man, there's a part of me, I don't want to speculate, I don't want to speculate. And let me just give you my logic, but I don't know if I'm right.
Oh, I see it.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if I'm right. For the PS5 Pro to handle the HDR tone mapping, obviously it is the source and it understands the metadata from the content. And that I'm wondering if that is what led to us going to auto HDR tone mapping on the more recent TVs from the Z9F series. The Z9F didn't support that feature, right? That happened right after the F. So I'm wondering if maybe, I just don't know. And then the first part of that question, Z9F, I can't remember how to control it because it doesn't have ambient optimization pro, which you can turn off auto white balance and auto HDR tone mapping. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one either.
Yeah, I'm truly guessing there.
If you want to send us an email, that one,
Please,
send us an email. We can try to look into that and try to find an answer for you. So I know we're gonna switch at some point.
Chase,
try to let us know. Try to let us know. Let us know so we can follow up on that and get an answer for you.
Email opinion.
I want to address just really quickly. Robert has a question, and I know we've been talking about a lot of stuff. Part one as well.
Oh, sorry.
If I run my Apple 4K device through A95L to my Theater Bar 9, there is a stutter in background soundtracks while watching Disney Plus. Sorry, if I run my Apple 4K device into my Theater Bar 9 directly, I lose half the sound volume and dynamic range on YouTube. And no, I don't believe that was mentioned in the emails that I recall. I don't know why that would do that. So are you saying, and maybe this is something that you could add in a little bit more detail to an email, are you...
No, go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, no, just to kind of identify, like, if you are running directly in, if it changes when you run it directly into the TV and arc out to the bar, if that changes the audio sound, and if that fixes the issue, I'd be wondering where that challenge is.
Robert knows his stuff, so at the risk of insulting him, I literally do not want to insult this.
Oh, he definitely goes through the steps of
I know. So this very fundamental, Robert, you got to forgive me for this question that I'm going to ask you. I am going to assume that all HDMI ports are set to enhanced and not standard.
That's a good thing to check.
I hate to ask that question.
It's a good thing to check.
But because they are defaulted at standard, I'm just if there is an issue, I'm just wondering if it is a sort of a bandwidth issue or what's the log jam? What is the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
It's just not passing through. So I'm just
bottleneck.
Bottleneck. It's the one. So I'm wondering if that's what it is. That's one thing to check, and I'm sure Robert has already done that, which is good. The second thing I want to follow up, in particular on Disney Plus. Okay, what is the audio format being played from the content? Are we talking IMAX enhanced audio format? Are we talking, traditional DTSX or whatever it may be on there? I'm just curious which audio format is it. Does it vary from content? Go back and watch an old, fairy tale, whatever, and see if you get the same experience on that versus a superhero movie that's more recent to see if you have similar results.
Yeah, is kind of adding in some extra comments to that. The volume is about half the level. It sounds so different. The best sound is to run through the TV to the soundbar, but doing it that way gives them the problem on Disney Plus,
right? Which
is interesting. I will say, like I know on one of my TVs, I have seen there's a temporary pre-buffer. When I just go in to start something or especially resuming, there's a little bit of stutter to kind of buffers in and catches up. I don't know if that's the same issue.
And that's what Bar 9?
Yes.
Bar 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
SD is seconding that as well.
Okay.
So let's. Can we have a note? Can we have a note taker? Would you mind? Just to so we can. I know this.
What? We have staff and personnel?
Yeah. I just want to make sure.
Shout out to Dino. What's up, bro? Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So if you're able to just kind of follow that comment from Robert Conrad.
Yes.
Regarding the issues with the Bar 9. We'll take a look at that. All right. Where are we? Where are we?
SD. I'm sorry. I'm working from Robert Part 2. Down, SD says, when are you guys going to fix the bug where there is no sound from rear speakers on the RS5s after going into Atmos content? Here's what's interesting. I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
Is it intermittent sound? I mean, I know you're not SD, but for right now you're in front of me. Sure. But because it's object-based audio, like, and not multi-stereo output, is it the absence of the content being directed there? Do you understand what I'm asking?
I do. I'm trying to find where that question.
Under Robert Conrad Part 2.
Got it.
Yeah. All right, let me see. Oh, I didn't see that one, John. I'm sorry. Let me see.
After going into Atmos content.
Okay. You see it? You see it now?
I do. Yep.
Okay. That's it. I'd love an email with content testing so we can replicate that.
SD would do that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We would replicate that. We can replicate quite easily.
Yeah, we should be able to.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We can replicate that right at the show. We have RS5s around
as well,
here.
please. Do you mind? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Where else are we at?
Shahid Khan. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Will Sony RGB mini LED TV be released in a 65-inch model? I read that 75 and 85-inch models will be released only.
Here's what I can say about that. Nothing has been announced regarding any sort of sizes officially. So I don't know. I would love to see that, of course. Yep. 65 is, and I don't have numbers, but I believe that's still like the volume size.
Yep.
But that's what I would expect. But I don't know. There's been no announcement on that.
Yep. Okay, I know we are way behind now that I'm looking at some of the comments.
I know. Yeah. I'm trying to keep an eye on some of the new ones that come in too, as like people are started. Yeah, so like SD is falling up there. Yeah. If I go into Atmos and then exit Atmos, I lose sound in the rears. I have to reboot Apple TV and TV to make it work again. To go back to Atmos, the bug reappears again.
Can I get in trouble? Sorry.
I'd rather you didn't, but
there's a question on here that I want to answer, and I feel like today was embargo on it, but we literally said nothing about it.
What?
Yeah?
I'm worried, but let's
I don't know where this is going.
Shahid Khan. Been using the Sony Core speakers for the last 6 years. These Sony home theater speakers were released over 10 years ago. Any plans for a new model or any new models to be released? I don't know, but the funny thing about that is I've been rocking my Core speakers as well.
Same.
That's what I have in my office.
I have 2 centers, 4 towers. I'm old school, so I have Sony Spatial ceiling speakers. I'm also everything. Yeah, it's very much throwback. That's like 15 years ago, right? So, but I am curious about that as well because I'd be excited to see what's going on there. So yeah, okay, cool.
I just want to shout this out. SD, if you don't mind, outside, if you can, would you be willing to send me an email? Specifically around some of the numbers and specs that you're curious about, because I would like to kind of understand a little bit more and maybe give you better understanding of something, or we can find out where I don't know how to really clarify. I just want to see where this is coming from so I can understand, because maybe I'm misunderstanding something.
Yeah, to get
dialogue. A better yeah
for you,
because I
get that.
Yeah, I would appreciate it if you don't mind. Let's see.
There's Robert. Hey, Robert Conrad. Thanks a lot. Great job on the video, by the way. Even if it wasn't exactly what I wanted to hear, absolutely professional and totally Sony. Thank you for that comment, and I will selfishly take a moment to thank the entire team that worked on that. Hopefully, I'm okay to say this. Our group that works on our videos had the honor of basically doing that entire video in-house.
Yeah.
And full production in-house with our team. And of course, it was stressful and there was a lot going on, but I am so proud of everybody that played a part in that.
I just want to throw this out there too, just as a did you know, I guess. Yeah, John's like, whoa. And I just to quickly echo that, and then we can move on to some of the questions that people are asking about. None of us are trained in communications, presenting, camera work, lighting, even editing.
No.
This is all stuff that we have learned grassroots, kind of in-house on our own effort and time. So
Yes.
sure, there might be some opportunities. We are doing our best, and we're doing everything we can because we truly believe in what we're doing here at Sony and what the company stands for and the brand and the technology. So I just think that's absolutely amazing what this entire team and some of the new folks that are joining in different live streams and stuff like that as well.
Yes.
I know there's some back there.
Yeah,
I
Ross,
see you.
Jen.
But yeah, it's
Dino
really
Hunter.
awesome to be part of this team that is putting in the effort, because this team, what's great too, we talked about how Larry and I kind of came from this work with customers in the retail spaces. That's what they do too. And that gives us a better way to try to really connect with you in a different way, in a more effective way. That's the goal. So,
Yep.
oh, Dino, if you don't mind, Robert Conrad put in a couple of comments there about specific details that can help us kind of follow up on that, if you don't mind.
Background sounds, vibration.
Cool. Awesome. Let's see. Did you find anything yet? Because I know there's a lot, and I know we've missed some. And
Here we go. Ryan Torres. This is a support question.
ooh,
I have a BRAVIA 7 and the quad. When I go into Sony Connect app, the TV won't connect 8 out of 10 times. The quad connects every time. Any ideas? Sure. This is the very unpopular thing. This is like the crazy unpopular thing that I always say, but it worked yesterday. I mean, when we did this, and I think Ross will confirm. Give this a shot. Uninstall the app completely. Just uninstall it. Then reinstall the app.
yeah, I was like, and then
Reinstall the app. No, just uninstall the app. Thank you. Have a good night. No, yeah. Uninstall the app, reinstall it, and then try it again. Yeah. And then try it again. There is, and I also want to ask, is it, this is just things I'm thinking about, right? Is it iOS versus Android OS? That's another question that comes up. But do me a favor, uninstall it, then reinstall it. If you still have the same challenge, there's nowhere that says that this is supposed to fix anything, but I literally did it, and it worked months ago, and we did it yesterday, and it worked perfectly. So I don't know the rhyme or reason. If it does not work, shoot us an email and let us know, because there's some weird things that happen with dual Bluetooth connections. One is an LE connection, one's a regular connection, and sometimes depending on which mobile device you have, it prefers the LE connection over the standard connection, which creates this sort of a conflict in the communication of those devices. So let's look into that together, but try that first, and fingers crossed that works for you.
No need to delete the connection before uninstall?
No, just straight uninstall and reinstall. That's it, and see if it works.
there was a quick comment here, question. Sony recently announced a new 4K Blu-ray player. The first new player since 2019. Will it have any new features, or will it just hit a new lower price point? So actually,
700, I think.
yeah, 700. It's like a 700K.
Something like that,
Yeah.
Well, we could have done Mark III with that, right? Because there was a 700. Was there a 702, or was that the 800 that had the 2?
702.
Or was it
Yes,
802?
I think you're thinking of the 800.
800 had a 2. Mark II.
Yeah.
Okay. See, Blu-ray was doing it before TV.
Yeah, I actually don't. We don't actually have the specs for that. Actually, I think there was just some slight changes on it, but I don't have all the specs on that, so we'll have to get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they're gonna try to do that, delete and reinstall, and let us know if that does or does not help. If you don't mind sending us an email, if you try some of the things we recommend, just so we can better know. Okay, I had this issue. Here's what I did, and I got to fix. I know there's some fantastic folks out there that have been really, really good about emailing me back and forth,
Yeah.
and I do appreciate that, and I do apologize. Sometimes there is a gap in my responses because sometimes it does a lot.
And
but
Larry
we'll
doesn't
do our
support,
best.
so that's I
also that.
apologize
Yeah.
as well. I will say this about the BRAVIA Connect development team. So I tested the beta of that app, and it was eventful. Okay. But the communication, that development team, working with them and giving them feedback and everything, there's been so many changes to that app over the course of its deployment last year that they are hungry for feedback, especially from you and I, because they know how much we focus on connecting with, with a lot of our customers that have our products. So please, if and Robert, I know you commented as well, if any of these if that fix, doesn't work, let us send an email and let's work with that team, try to figure out what may be causing this conflict. So we'll work on that.
Yeah, as we go through, sorry, there's so many things. Jesse Vlogs, can you talk to us about any new product? Well,
yeah.
That's a pretty general question. There are a bunch of videos that you can check out, and I think I'm in a couple of them, but we are posting the overview videos for the videos you can find on the Sony Electronics channel. There will be some following up with the theater side of it tomorrow. They can give you some more information. Of course, you can always put some questions on those videos as well if you want to know a little bit more. Stay tuned, of course, too. We have Value Electronics with us. Shout out, hello, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Mr. Zahn, how are you, sir?
Yeah, and I like this. There'll be a very big year for the 2025 TV shootout. Absolutely. I'm sure that will be an event for sure.
Excited.
Hope you and these two very special video experts will join us this year. I don't know if that's in reference to us or not, but I'd like to think so. That'd be crazy.
Robert, I know you know some people that you could make that humble request to.
That's also true. That's true. You can make requests. We'll see what happens.
Audio Boy?
I was just reading that one. I haven't read it yet.
All right.
Let me just read it out, I guess.
Yeah,
I've been reading the forums, and people are saying the 360 spatial sound mapping feature loses some ambient details in comparison to Dolby speaker virtualizer on the quads. Ooh, what is your opinion? I only had a few demos on the quads. Have you experienced this? Is this something you need to follow up on?
I'll have to follow up. I need to move the quads in a more challenging space, though. Admittedly.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They're in a 10 by 12, and like literally nothing sounds bad. So I need to put them in. I'll move them to my living room, and I'll give it a better test. I've just kind of been spoiled having it in there. So.
I love Audio Boy always staying true to the name. I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that. Let's see. BRAVIA 5 98-inch have feet that adjust to center area for smaller TV furniture. We don't have the dimensions, but I know it is more center plate. 98 BRAVIA 5. I know it's more towards the center. There are specific safety reasons why it is the way that it is. Do we have the?
I'm looking. We've got
info on
all these PowerPoint slides up. Let me see if there's one in here that.
See if we can find the dimensions that for you though, because sure. I'm so confident it's not at the edges.
I know where to find it.
Okay.
Sorry, that was loud. On. My bad, John. I know where to find it.
It may have been in the teaser.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm going to go look for, those documents. Okay, I got it.
Man.
Give me a couple of minutes. So we're looking for 98 BRAVIA 5 stand distances, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or smaller furniture.
Yeah, the center. Got it. On it.
Yeah. Let's see. Jay says it's funny how when things are fixed, given, the silence comes. The Dolby fix, the worries about no QD-OLED. Now we got another one coming. Thank you guys for keeping us tuned in and seeking answers. Yeah, it's I do appreciate that, because this is, man, I wish you could have seen us a little earlier. We have a lot of passion about what we do, and there are so many things I wish we could all hang out and like talk.
Oh yeah,
that would be awesome. We would probably need an entire day. I think that'd be so cool. But we legitimately are very aware and concerned about your opinions and your thoughts, and we will share all of these things with the business units because they love us so much. And I do appreciate that as well.
Okay.
Did you find it yet? Sounds like you.
Yeah, but I have to do that translation thing.
Michael Beckerman, I got it here. What does the new Sub 7 bring to the table, and what devices is it meant to work with? The Sub 7 actually is not going to be available in the US. It is, if I'm not mistaken, because we didn't get all the specs on that one, because it's not part of the US, which is where we are based, so we don't have the spec information for that one. We just mentioned it in our video per our script, to be honest. And if I'm not mistaken, do you recall
Sure.
if it was a little bit below the line of the SW3, right? In terms of like power, it's smaller, it's thinner.
Yep. It is.
So it's it's quite a bit thinner. So I don't know the power rating on it though. It gives a little bit more of a flexible design to placement, which I know is often more needed in overseas. Because sometimes they have some of the older, smaller places on, like America. Sometimes we have these ridiculous sized houses.
Why is he looking at me? Okay. Wow.
I can confirm that.
BRAVIA 98-inch BRAVIA 5 has one position. According to what I'm looking at, it only shows one position. We'll look at from the outside of the legs, because we get two measurements. From the inside of the leg to the outside of the leg. From the outside of the leg, it is 60.5 inches from leg to leg. 60.5. That's the distance.
From leg to leg. So you'd be looking at
a lot.
Dude, 98 inches of a TV is a lot.
It's true.
I'm just saying.
It's true.
Okay. Here's what I would say. Obviously, when that TV is becoming available and the spec information is available, that will definitely have that, and you can kind of do some comparisons. I wish we had more details for that, but all that stuff is still kind of being finalized and being created for, which should be soon. Yeah, right, John, when does the stuff get posted on? Do we know when this stuff's going to pop up? All spec information on electronics?
I think it's up already.
Maybe up. I haven't even been there yet. We've been doing too much today.
Literally, the cut sheet, cut sheet or the blueprint.
On support.
No, I'm in our internal documents. It literally only shows one stand position and then wall mounting. Just the dimensions, no stand. That's all it's showing. Okay. So I had to translate from millimeters to inches because math.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they on electronics? Okay.
It's a massive TV.
All right. So high def news. The BRAVIA 5 specs say it has 6 times the dimming zones of the X90L. Is that size for size? Here's what I can say. It is up to 6 times the amount versus the X90L. That is actually all the information that I have. Let's see. Let's see. Wow, where did that first question come from?
I didn't abandon you, Derek. I've dove so deep into this, our documents. Sorry.
So can you guys please tell us if the 77-inch A95L that's carrying over this year for 2025 is going to have the new Gen 3 panel? I haven't been shared any information on if that's changing versus what it currently is. So if we find out anything to the contrary, of course, we'll definitely share that for sure. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Did you find something?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, cool. Nothing we can share though.
Got it. Okay.
Sorry. That wasn't fun.
Wow. So I just want to throw this out there too. How do I want to say this? I still do want to kind of understand more of what people's thoughts are, and I totally understand that if you were like, this is the year that I am updating a 77-inch. Totally understand that you'd be like, this is exactly what I wanted to hear. It's not there. It's okay to be disappointed. Totally understand that. And I know everybody's in a different situation. Is it a need to update this year because we don't know what's happening next year? And I know that most people don't buy year over year. I know to go back to that, but I'm just kind of curious, is that one of those things that is, maybe it is a need for you, and that's okay. And I totally get that. I don't know. I guess I just don't know for sure how to even really ask. That's just something I want to talk to people in person to really have that conversation.
Oh man, if this could be two-way, that would be awesome.
Yeah. It's hard to do this in a
we'll just invite people to go live with us.
That's right. Will Tech's going to be a co-host.
Michael Beckerman said we should have a roadshow. But like, where would that be for everybody to go?
Yeah, I know. I guarantee everybody's from all over, and I know we have a lot of folks that are overseas as well, and we appreciate everybody being here and hanging out with us. You know, and yeah, dude. Honestly, though, in the grand scheme of things, yeah. Do I wish there was a 77-inch replacement? Sure, absolutely. Am I worried about that being like a big concern for us? I'm not. And I don't want people to think just because we're not offering that, we don't care about those customers. We do. And there are these decisions that are made for what we do. But let's see. Yeah. It's
SD, and I appreciate that last comment. You guys did a great job at the BRAVIA 9, just disappointed with the OLED side of things, and you're really falling behind there. It was a wise move to carry over the BRAVIA 9, but no 77 OLED. That's a huge mistake. Yeah, you said it best earlier. There's obviously reasons for some of those decisions that we aren't privy to. I just gotta think there's a great reason somewhere. Yeah, I'd like to one day be able to share it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to address too, and I don't know where did I see this? Was this I don't know if this was in a video comment or something, but talking about like the shift. Oh, I know where it came from. Okay. And kind of this because this brings that up again, is that it feels like we're going away from OLED. I don't know if that's the case. I don't feel that is the case. And I know we talked about and was announced the 2026 tech for RGB mini LED. I personally, and maybe I'm not the expert when it comes to that sort of stuff because they work on this stuff for years. The potential of what RGB LED, mini LED can do versus what OLED limitations are, I think there's more opportunity in that to overtake. Right. Because as it gets finer and finer control, you start to get near that black level of an OLED, but still that brightness. Even though OLEDs are pushing, it's a lot more stress on them, generally speaking. Yes. And you know, I know there's other new tech out there that, you know, we'll see how everything performs. Again, let's wait and see what this stuff looks like and how it compares before we just discount one or the other and say this is the one that is going to win everything until we really see. But
what you said there has so much credibility, largely because you're an OLED person.
I am.
You and we've debated this for like 3 years now, and I am definitely more of a mini LED person. But you also, of the two of us, is the only one that has seen RGB backlight in person. Okay? And so hearing you kind of hinting around that and you being receptive, you know, again, we're not saying that we're done. Like, no one is, I don't want that to be the takeaway that we're saying that, oh yeah, Sony's leaving OLED, because that happened. That was the conversation last year. But hearing you talk about RGB backlight, just even off air when it's just you and I talking, is I'm very optimistic at what that is. And you know, for
gonna be awesome.
For
it's gonna be awesome for sure.
Customer. Yep. Yeah. Where are we at? Let me see. Oh, it feels like the post Z90 days when you guys were moving away from top trail series, but in reverse.
Wow. High Def News, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective, but man, there are so many great minds in here that would be some great conversation. Yeah. I do want to say this though too. Like, I know we've been talking a lot about, you know, 8 Mark II and size and challenges, right? I just want to call out, like, I think the one that is going to fly under the radar for, I know a lot of this audience, but I just want to be realistic for like the general people at BRAVIA 5.
Yes.
It's that TV, like we won't have a full array local dimming TV this year.
Right. At all. Which
is crazy, going right up to mini LEDs. So I think, you know, I don't know how to best say this, but you know, how do we plan for the stuff? There's always a reason, and I know that TV is gonna move. That TV is gonna move, especially in those different sizes too.
Selfishly, when we were working through script development and all that for the announcement video, and we were trying to assign who would talk about what TV.
Yes, I know which one you wanted.
Selfishly, I fought to talk about the BRAVIA 5.
Yes.
Because it is legit a TV that I am super excited about. I am super excited about trying to convince my wife to allow me to get a 98-inch of that TV.
Man.
I would love that.
That's going to
be a great bathroom TV.
A great bathroom TV. Wow, John.
We're living in it. Jeez.
So I want to reverse course on something.
Sure.
This is going to be weird. We talked earlier, an hour ago, about new processor. No, we don't redo versions or whatever. When we talk about saying statements, it's like, all right, where's the proof? We talk about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can't believe I missed this, but this is a combo, John. You ready? Did you know that there's an update that happened recently on the BRAVIA 3?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Check this out.
Yes.
So we're talking about a BRAVIA 3. Unfortunately, this is a tier of televisions that is not often talked about in forums and sub posts and all. That's not discussed because we concentrate on the top.
Right.
But I want you guys to look at the power of processing just for a second. So in 2024, when the BRAVIA 3 came out, when we were talking about how we were optimizing picture quality, how we were handling upscaling on a processor level, it was the entire frame optimization. I think it was like March 24th. I can't remember the exact date. BRAVIA 3 received an update that on the, help me out with this, X1 4K HDR processor, which was our legacy flagship processor from years ago, engineers are still working on that processor, trying to evolve it. How can it get better? Not tagging a version 17 on it or whatever the case may be. But the BRAVIA 3 now does zone optimization for picture quality tuning. So as the input signal comes in, the processor reads in these zones how each section should taste. I'm talking teaspoons, not a pot, not the ocean. It is tasting the flavor of every single teaspoon of the entire beverage to make sure that cup of coffee is delicious.
Wow.
We gotta clip that.
Wow.
Clip that.
Wow.
That's how that, my friend, not teaspoons. We're talking cups. No, anyway, but but in all seriousness, this to me and to you, when we heard about this update happening, we were like, yo, this is so dope. It gets no airplay or discussions because we do the firmware update. Everybody runs to eSupport or whatever the case may be to find out. And what it says, other picture quality enhancements and improvements. And that's all it says.
Yes.
But anyway, this is just an example of how we don't necessarily, we want to constantly, after you buy a TV, we don't want you to have buyer's remorse 12 months later thinking, I should have waited till next year. We want to continue to evolve. A95L, from the year it came out to last year, everyone thought A95L carryover not going to work, right? Then it wins King of TVs. And then the conversation when FOMO and Brian were hosting that was, what does that mean if the generation panel that's on the A95L beats the current generation panel that was on the competitor models? What does that mean if that happens?
Right.
Means that it still comes down to processing for picture quality. It's still, hardware is absolutely what allows processing to elevate it, but it is the processing that takes it to the next level. Anyway, there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Look at that. That was beautiful.
Zone optimization, baby.
Yeah, and actually I did want to call out too that image that you had up, that was from something that we put together, and we were just like, wait, it's already out?
Yeah.
Like because it has just come out.
Because it still says future upgrade. Yeah, and we're
Yeah.
like, oh, that happened 2 weeks ago?
It was like so recent. So
yeah,
it was very cool to see that.
so dope. Okay, sorry.
I want to get your thoughts on this.
Uh-oh, that's good.
Robert says there's a fire station. You guys be quiet over there. I hear you. No, I'm just kidding. I do. There's a fire station right down the street from me, and they have a crappy TV. Quote, I keep seeing at Walmart an X93L.
At Walmart?
75-inch
Yes.
X93L for $12.98. And I want to buy it for them. That's really generous of you. Think that's a good deal. I mean, I think that's only a little bit more than the cost of the 90L and the 75-inch.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a deal. I mean, for what that TV can do compared to like the 90 for only $100 more to get the upgrade,
That's a deal.
I think that would be a deal, and that's a really generous thing. That kudos to you. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yes, that is do that. Shout out.
Do that.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to that, especially for people that are public servants like that are fire. First of all, shout out to anybody that's in those kind of fields that are out there protecting everyone. Police, fire, EMTs, everybody. Shout out to that, and it's pretty cool, Robert, that you're considering them and what they do. I've got family members that are firemen, so that's near and dear to me. So
that's awesome.
That's pretty dope.
That's awesome.
All right.
Let's see. I just bought a BRAVIA 8 last week, and now I'm regretting not waiting for the BRAVIA 8 Mark II. Well, to be fair, you didn't know it was happening, so you didn't make any mistakes. Is there a big difference between those two TVs? Yes. Yes, there is.
We talked about this.
We did talk about this. Why did you say it that way?
Because we talked about this.
Yeah. I know.
Sorry, we talked about this.
So go ahead. Carry on if you don't mind.
I think because the BRAVIA 8 Mark II is the successor to the A95L. And when you chose the BRAVIA 8, you chose the BRAVIA 8 in comparison to the A95L. And whatever the reasons were that was the TV for you, then I think you still should feel good about that. To be honest.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know the naming convention, which we haven't talked about, creates this thought that the BRAVIA 8 Mark II is just simply the upgrade or is an upgrade to the BRAVIA 8 current model, but not the case. BRAVIA 8 in North America, at least is all we can speak on, is continuing this year. It is. So the TV you bought is still a current model relevant TV for the remainder of the year. And that's the part of it that I feel the best about is like, this is Tyrone, right? That said that? Yes. That you made this purchase and you don't want to have remorse thinking, I should have waited.
Yeah.
Because you have still what's current in the market. So that's cool.
Yeah. And that is a tough thing to think about though too, because man, it's so easy to get into buyer's remorse. Even if you think about, dropping, that's why I always have like a gap in years of getting a TV. Cause I'm like, number one, I don't have the money. Number two, it's sort of like, is that investment worth the iteration jump? And usually waiting a couple of years is typically where we'll start to see more benefit. 2 to 3 years is really where you see a big noticeable jump. Year over year, it's becoming less and less is what I've noticed.
Yep.
Sometimes there are these innovations,
right?
That pop up every now and then.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the TV is still relevant for sure. It's just a matter of, would you want to have spent the difference in the cost, which we don't even know the price yet. So I don't know what that actually is.
Yep.
So I get that might be something that you might be like, I guess I chose right. Or you'd be like, oh man, I should have waited.
Yeah.
I don't envy that position, but I 100% understand it. And I don't have an answer 100% for that.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh, Will Tech.
Yeah, I just saw that one.
Yeah.
I'm getting a Sony STR-AZ7000 ES. Congratulations. That is hot. Any high-level things to watch for when doing the initial setup?
Will knows this stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure your speaker configuration is exactly as it should be.
Yes.
There are confusing points about the difference between Atmos channels and height channels.
Correct, yes.
So that is a common, and can we email him that crazy library guide that I have no idea where it is. It's in the that guy is it really in the menu? Okay.
I don't know if that's only online though. I don't think it comes with a paper one, but there on the support site there is a guide that walks you through everything in terms of like what is your setup, because some people have really strange setups, like a 6-point something, whatever that is, which is uncommon to see, but there are ways to set that up. That is a really good point. And I will say this, even on the AN1000, and I assume it's the same for the ES line, they're actually, what's on screen there, that's the manual that has all those awesome pages for it.
Opportunity to block Larry.
Yeah, you can do that all the time. Our receivers have a really cool, like, you can look at some great graphical explanations of things, and I'm sure you're going to be just fine with this. So yeah, you did say high level things. I don't think there is, but for those other folks that are out there, that's a good way to kind of help you understand the difference, like you said, between an Atmos or a height channel, and then even how you wire them up too, because sometimes you can use some terminals for different things based on what you're doing, your setup. So it does walk you through that really effectively, and there are some on-screen images that will help you to see where you need to connect what speakers wire to which terminals.
I had the AZ7000 ES for 6 days.
That's right. I know you were so upset about that.
Hated every minute of boxing it back up and shipping it. I was hot.
That's just part of what we do.
I'm not saying my 5000 ES is
Here, film a video and give it back.
I'm not saying the 5000 ES is not a good receiver at all. I love that, but man, that was just not nice to do that to me. It's like, here, take this amazing product and here's the return label. Anyway, okay.
We'll take a great point there too. Again, I think we failed. This is where Will should have a spot on our show, calling out that the BRAVIA 8 Mark II is 50% up to 50% brighter than the BRAVIA 8. So that is substantial.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
for sure. All right, SD.
I was hoping you brought that up.
That's SD, good. Man, you've been pulling out the tough ones. Question. This one, man.
Yeah, I like that question.
Will you guarantee? Oh, come on. Sending messages. I can't read it. Will you guarantee 77-inch availability for the entire calendar year? Many are nervous if their warranty fails. Sony will have no TV to replace it with other than LCD for the A95L. So to be blunt, no, I cannot, because we are not privy to that information. I'm sure there's a plan. What that is, unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know if you have something.
Only thing I can add to that is we've worked very closely with the team that's responsible for both service and warranty. We know people, right?
Yep.
I am confident that whatever the solution is, it will be a customer first solution that would be given. Well, I guarantee that they're going to be there. We can't, and you've already said that, obviously, but we will definitely make it right by the customer. I think that's as far as I can say. I just want to add that.
Yeah. They've
been caught in that situation. I've been very happy. John was caught in that situation. I'm gonna say his business. John was caught in that situation. Can I tell the story?
Yeah.
You had a Z8. You had a Z8H. John had a Z8H, and right in warranty.
And I purchased it while it was on clearance.
Purchased it on clearance, so we got a favorable price. Okay. Then he started having some issues, and that's another point that a lot of people don't know is when we have issues, we go through the same channels as a regular customer would.
Yeah. Oh, it was very tempting to call
a friend, phone a friend. Yeah, we could have phoned a friend, but John went through the normal contacts, and they did a couple of troubleshooting things, and he provided all this information. But the result of that was, hey, there are no Z8Hs anymore, discontinued. Can we send you a Z9J? From a Z8H to a Z9J, wild. From a great 8K TV to a Master Series 8K TV. Because the most important thing was doing right by the customer. In this case, it was John. And that's why, from that experience, that's why I say that.
Nice. Yeah, I just want to add that in there too, because especially when it comes to warranty information, things like that, I do want to reiterate, if you are having issues, we'll do our best to support as best we can, but there's a lot of things that we can't do because we technically are not a support team. We just want to open up another avenue for people because we see so many comments online of people saying, I have an issue with this, I have an issue with this. So how can we try to at least get them started or kind of push them on the path of actually reaching out to their region's Sony support team? I will add this as well, because I've started to do this too, though. Registering the product to save some of that time and have some of that peace of mind of having it done. I actually started doing that with some of my more recent purchases. I got to go back and research some details, because if I do have an issue, honestly, now I'm thinking about it, there are a lot of my Sony products I'm like, I don't think I have the receipt, and I have no clue when I got them. Thankfully, I've not had any issues, but at the same time, like, just something to consider. It actually is easy to do, because I have been doing it, just to register it so you have that stuff in there, registered when you got it, the serial number. So if you do have any issues, they can pull up that information. Makes it a little bit easier, a little bit less to worry about.
100.
There was a question, Martin, and I think we missed. I missed. I apologize. There's been a lot going on in this one. It's been a different sort of conversation. I'm a little worried about the lack of A90K successor. Mine is mostly going strong from launch. Great small premium TV, because if I remember correctly, because there's a lot going on here. Oh, shout out to Global South. Welcome back. Good to have you here. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to keep up with all this stuff. But I believe you had mentioned too, like, I think you had a question about when will it be a new, smaller premium OLED. And unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that, because those are continuing this year as well. And they are great little TVs. And sure, there's been some stuff that has changed on some of the other models, but they're still great for that size. But I don't have any information on anything that's new. And as our understanding is continuing through this year, much like with the question regarding the 77-inch A95L, that's our understanding, is it will continue through the year. That's the information we have at this time.
SD's comment that he put in there, I definitely will Sony relax their logo dimming algorithm now that there's a huge difference in headroom between brightness and panel capability. I want to take that information to, like, JT and then the engineers to figure out all of our preventative steps that we've put in place have been panel preservation and length of time and longevity and life of TV.
Right.
Every manufacturer has sort of this baseline, because there's not regulation that says your product should last. I mean, this is why everyone has a 1-year warranty, right? So the comfort in most manufacturers is, well, as long as it lasts a year, we're good, right? I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
But so there's no standardized form of how long you expect a product, and it takes me back to Martin's thing with this A90K that's been going strong since launch. And what I want to see is, are we adjusting that on the BRAVIA 8 Mark II versus previous? What went into the decisions in how we're calculating that to preserve the panel, and what are we hoping to expect from it? Those are some of the things that I'm just kind of thinking about, trying to get from that team. Dino, do you mind taking that note? Okay. Logo dimming and panel preservation is the thing that we're kind of looking into. Okay. All right. Cool.
So just to Michael Beckerman, I apologize. I thought I had replied to your email. I am sending it now. So sorry about that. I did get some information back from one of our custom install team guys. So I'm going to send that to you right now. Sorry about that. And send. There it goes. Away it goes.
All right, here you go, Derek. Esquire Gamer.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. Okay. Just sent an email about this, so I'll have to take a look at that. There we go. Does Sony have a proprietary VRR technology built into their TVs for when a PS5 is connected? So, honestly, I don't know if there's any specific tech to it, but we do have Perfect for PlayStation. And one of the benefits of that is that, you do have the auto HDR tone mapping, auto genre picture mode. There isn't anything that explicitly states VRR, because my understanding of the technology, variable refresh rate, is essentially you just have your TV is going to match the output of the device to reduce or minimize any screen tearing. So I don't know of any exclusive technology to make that work. I don't believe so, but I can't say as far as like specific tech. We do have the auto HDR tone mapping, which is the big one that will match the when you set up your PlayStation or even some games have where you can set your HDR levels. It will automatically do that based on the TV that you have connected. So, which is pretty cool. Saves some time.
Square Gamer followed up.
Let's see. Robert at Value Electronics, who might be here with us right now still, mentioned a few years back during I think that's a FOMO stream back when official VRR was not supported. But so that was one of those. That was an interesting time because things were not standardized at that time, and again, I don't know 100%, but because it wasn't standardized, there were some companies that were like, well, we'll make our software version. We're going to make a hardware version that was able to be purchased and handled. But essentially what that does, it is VRR.
Right.
And VRR is just like the global term for the same things that those are doing.
Yep.
So I don't know what else to really add to that, actually.
That's it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it supports VRR now. So if the source supports it, the TV will support it. Just make sure that you are changing your HDMI input settings,
there it is.
Which is actually prompted. So when you set up a device and turn it on, it will say, "Hey, do you want to set up this device?" I do recommend you do it because it will read the device and it will set those settings for you and adjust the HDMI input to enhanced to accommodate that device to allow for.
Take that a step further.
Okay.
Because when you click set, you taught me this. So let the student be the teacher.
Sure.
Yeah, you did.
All right.
Because you did a video about it. Because when you click setup, it then gives you a list of types of devices that you're connecting it to, right? And so there's PC, there's game, there's a set-top box. There's all these different options.
Yeah.
So it can, right? I mean, it's because how you configure that to your PC to show PowerPoint presentations and spreadsheets and stuff like that is very different than from a gaming experience, X, Y, and Z. Anyway, that just was... Yeah. I do want to touch on Michael Beckerman's question. If the XR processor is smart enough to analyze an incoming image, can Sony also make it smart enough to warn you when you are likely to be burning in your OLED because it sees a static image too long? Who says it doesn't?
Wait, hold on. I was ready.
Yeah, I was like, where is that? Hang on, let me find it.
Yes. Did you know that one of the incredible things that the XR processor has been doing since the A90J is it has a two-way communication with panel health and also the processor? It was the first thing that was improved when we removed the heat sink off of the physical aluminum heat sink off of the OLEDs. So what it does is it's constantly communicating with the panel to say, hey, this pixel, this group, this area, whatever is starting to whatever, and then it initiates that. The second tier of that is it's keeping a running clock of not just the amount of time. See, this is the thing that everybody's trying to find out. How many hours of viewing do you have on an OLED before it asks you to do the panel refresh? See, it's not a set time.
Right.
It is the evaluation of the health of the OLED panel that is determined by the XR processor that says, based upon you watching Vivid all day versus Cinema on 20, this is the time that you need to run the panel refresh. Another one of those sophisticated features that the XR processor has that does not appear on the spec sheet we are often asked to compare.
It's a good call out. No, I like that. Well said. Jeez, that was good. Man. That was good. That was good.
It's a dope thing we don't talk about. But thank you. Michael, thank you for that. I feel like he may have teed me up because Michael probably knew that.
Maybe.
He probably knew that.
You know what? This is something I want to better understand. And having an A95L and seeing a lot of these, overly aggressive dimming, comments from Will and SD, two people who from what I understand, clearly have a great understanding of the technology and have experience.
Yes.
I need to better understand and talk to our team about, am I blind and dumb because I don't see a lot of these things, but I hear it from multiple people?
Right.
Am I not sensitive to it? Because I know that, obviously you talk about audiophiles, you have cinephiles too. That are just like, they see these things that, maybe I'm not seeing.
Right.
But is it also like, I want to better understand some of the settings differences because I don't have mine set very bright because I have just bias lighting behind my A95L. So I'm running, if I'm gaming, sometimes I'll probably run it at brightness of like 30, 35, and some of it is Dolby Vision gaming. So it is bright. Watching movies, generally I'm running in professional or Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision usually dark, at least at night. I might go bright during the day. I don't watch a lot of sports because I don't have any way to watch sports.
Clearly, I've tried to have a sports conversation with you.
I don't have any. I can't afford the things that'll give me sports channels. But I've not actually seen aggressive, and I am a gamer on my TV, and I have not noticed that I've perceived. So I need to better understand where is that coming from, and what are the levels that everybody's seeing. So maybe we can better understand the concern and get some feedback to the team that way.
Yep.
But I appreciate some of those comments there too.
Yep, absolutely. Smoking with fats. My N95L has one single dead pixel on the top center, about 2 inches from the edge. Do you know Sony's policy in dead pixels? Someone told me that you have to have 3 or more dead pixels to get warranty claim. My recommendation is contact support. I wouldn't assume any outside information. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. Contact support and just simply say that you have dead pixels on your A95L. And then honestly and accurately answer the questions that follow that. I would leave it at that. Do that. Sorry.
FOMO's with us. Welcome.
What's up, brother?
We gotta talk soon. I was talking to Jack, Jack, and we're gonna connect soon. FYI.
Yeah, I love FOMOs. I have my A95L on max brightness in HDR always.
I'm surprised the always isn't caps.
Always. That's hilarious.
I love it.
Yep.
Vedant has joined us. Welcome back.
What's up, Vedant?
Does the BRAVIA 8 Mark II support Dolby Vision gaming like the A95L? Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
That was the easiest question. Just a yes or no.
Man,
keep it simple.
And we're done.
Man, I love that.
Yeah, there we see you guys. Thanks for playing.
We've had a lot more complicated questions today.
Daniel Long, I'd like for you to expand on that. Settings.
Oh, bro. Yeah, Daniel, I'm interested to know what you're referring to on that. But if you could expand, that'd be great. Because, yes, settings can make a difference, too. Let's see. We'll take adding high dims aggressively. Medium or low doesn't as much in gaming. Almost never dims. Okay. So just want to make sure I'm understanding where that's coming from,
I love
too.
some of these creative solutions. Josh Walters. Yeah, +1 to the dimming on the A95L. So he's supporting that. He said that there was a workaround for sports by using vivid and 2-point correction to mitigate, but it's a Band-Aid, not a solution. Yeah, valid.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Michael Beckerman's real quick. It was a follow-up question regarding the XR processor monitor. It doesn't matter if it's internal streaming content or external connection. It is a panel to processor relationship regardless of content.
Yep.
So there we go. Yep.
Andrew's with us too.
What's up, Andrew?
Michael Wong, best replacement for my Z9D.
BRAVIA 9.
There you go.
Yes. I didn't even have the question up yet.
Yeah. But that would definitely be the most
You
in
are
line
clearly
with that.
someone who appreciates the finer things in life. BRAVIA 9 by Sony.
There you go. There you go. Let's see. Daniel Long says X1 runs 120 hertz in gaming on my PS5 and the other one. With the introduction of the 2 Mark II, why didn't the 3 get a buff to 120? Really, the BRAVIA 3 is an encore model. It's one that's carrying over because it does extremely well for what it's designed to do.
Yep.
And sure, it doesn't offer the 120 hertz, which if you are a 4K 120 gamer, then I'm going to be honest that it's probably not the solution for you to give you, because I'm not going to beat around the bush. It isn't going to offer that particular feature. It does do very well for gaming, but if you really, really want the VRR capability, the 4K 120, then something like the BRAVIA 5 will give you that and a whole bunch more, especially in contrast performance and brightness. Will be a big boost in the overall performance. So not just in gaming, but also in everything else that you watch will be pretty enhanced when you go from a 3 to a 5. So something to consider as well.
Dan MKS, what model are you guys most excited for? I want to see the 98 BRAVIA 5. Yep.
I thought that was just Larry.
Just punch in here. Here you go. Can you hear me there? Yep. You and me both. 98 BRAVIA 5. I am eagerly awaiting that. And you're gonna punch in.
That guy said it.
Oh. Yeah, I am. I know Derek probably. I would be curious to know. It's not not just a me answer, but
yeah, I would honestly say the 8 Mark II.
Of course.
Whoa. I know. Shocker. I know. Ooh,
wow.
Shocking everybody right
Shocker.
now. I have seen some brief comparisons so far because it is still early, and we have one here. Like, actually, we have both here, don't we?
What's that?
95L back there. 8.2 here.
Yeah, A95L is there. 8 Mark II is there.
Okay.
BRAVIA 3 is over there. BRAVIA 2 Mark II is there. BRAVIA 9 is there.
Yep.
Oh yeah, man, we got the whole lineup.
We have them. Yeah.
Saying random model numbers and pointing.
You're just pointing anywhere. Yeah.
Just point at wherever we want.
Over there.
Yeah. Unannounced product there. Unannounced product here. Yeah, man, we're rocking and rolling.
There is over there. Just saying, that's something else.
Is it?
But anyway, don't worry about it. It's totally off camera and it cannot be seen by anybody. So that said,
sure?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
So the reason why, I am an OLED fan, as I've stated, and what I have seen some demos of the A95L versus the 8 Mark II, and I could see a difference, a very big difference. And I know there was a comment earlier about what was it? It was something about, I apologize to whoever asked this question. I remember seeing it. Sorry, we got caught up in so many things. There was a question of how was the measurement done to give you that percent difference. I actually don't know the answer. I want to find out because that is a great and legitimate question. But I am one of those people who I need to see it the way I want to see it. I want to see the games that I play on it. I want to see the movies that I watch on it side by side, so I can determine the differences. But
let's do it,
man. Dude, literally leave in like 10 hours.
Let's do it. Okay, you're right.
And we got to finish. So actually, we should start to wrap up. So if there's any final comments, put them in now. We'll try to get through the best I can.
It's 63 people watching. We are not wrapping up.
Bored out of their minds.
No, let's keep going. You guys keep asking Derek these questions. So, FOMO, you beat me to it. Well, wow. There's a bunch of things that FOMO said that I want to just quickly touch on. One, A95K. FOMO said A95K in his bedroom.
Oh man,
he's enjoying it. Yeah, A95. I talked about that earlier. A95K. I'm good. I love that TV. Now, SD asked, will the BRAVIA 10 be available in 75-inch?
There isn't a BRAVIA 10.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, there isn't a BRAVIA 10. So
that's a FOMO put on there. He's like, LOL, BRAVIA 10 name drop. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, there is. What was announced today is what was announced.
And I'm only in SD. It's a legit question. It is a super legit question. The only reason why I kind of pose it in that funny way is because there's a well-known online reviewing site and a couple of other sites that were like, here's the leak of the Sony TVs that are coming out. And it was this list, and we're looking at it, and having already known the lineup is like, what?
It was just everything from last year, Mark II.
Everything from last year, Mark II. And then a lot of people got behind, like BRAVIA 10, like, oh, that's coming, that's going to happen, or whatever. And of course, you and I, we couldn't say anything. We just had to let that sort of, I just hate the fact that it went from just discussion to like true belief. But we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what the naming, what models are coming out next year. I know there's a question also about, will there be a BRAVIA 4 to replace the X85, right? I don't know. Does the X85 need a refresh? It's because
the 3 is kind of in line with
but
that.
It's the 120.
85. Right. Yes.
It's the 120 hertz panel that people are looking for. So I don't know. I mean, we have gaps in numbers for a reason.
That's true. Yeah.
So we don't want to paint ourselves in a corner. Could you imagine if we launched BRAVIA's 1 through 5, and it's like, and then we launched 6, and they're like, but 6 is better than 1, but not better than 2, and then everybody's really hating our naming convention. Anyway, there you go.
It gets
new decimal points.
We will.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not. Let's not.
All right, so Vedant has another question here. Why do Sony TVs not have wireless center channel? So it kind of, I'll finish the question first. Don't get ahead of yourself. Do the new ones have it wireless, or is it 3.5 millimeter like earlier? So it will remain the same connection method. So with the 3.5 stereo cable that is included with all of the compatible Theater Bar products, they will have that. So why it's not wireless, I don't know 100%. My thought is...
Your thought is going to be right. Because
probably.
Your thought's going to be right.
One of the biggest challenges that comes with wireless audio is 2 things. Interruptions or interference, and also latency. And obviously you don't really want that, especially when you're trying to sync things up with the hardware. You don't want there to be any sort of latency issue. You'd rather have them all work synchronized to make it sound better. So that's my assumption. I don't know. Not an engineer. We didn't develop the product. Yeah.
But I would argue that you are absolutely correct, because if you think about one of the number one complaints of home theater products that have wireless components, drop off, latency, like those are common things regardless of brand, because you're battling the ever-changing network environment that you're in. So take your Bluetooth, headphones in a busy airport at peak hour, and watch how there are challenges. So I love it.
Let's see a couple things on here. SD adding in some things here. Peak luminance, medium, still dims a lot. Only on low it doesn't dim. I actually should have, I know for mine, I should be on medium.
Okay.
I believe. I'm going to do some testing because I'm kind of curious. And, again, if you want to send us an email, feel free. If you want to get some more deeper information, share some more thoughts on what you think, and we can respond to that as well. But yeah, any details and things like, hey, I have an issue when I do this setting, this. We'll do our best to test that and kind of see, and then we can share that with the TV business unit and see, is this an issue or is it working as intended, and why is it doing it that way?
Yep.
Let's see. Miguel, long-time watcher, first-time chatter.
Miguel, how are you doing?
Yes, we welcome everyone's comments and questions, but thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate that. SD did clarify the RGB mini LED event, so he's already calling it. He's dubbing it himself as the BRAVIA 10. It doesn't have a name. There's been nothing announced in terms of, aside from the technology exists. That's all that's been confirmed at this point.
The next question is going to be, is Master Series coming back?
Somebody asked why we went away from Master Series, and that's another one I missed. Man, I feel like I have failed all of you today with missing so many comments.
We're here now. We're here now.
I need to be better.
Yeah.
Do more, be better.
Dude, you're great, dude.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know why they went away from that.
I don't know either. From a think about it. Let's stop for a second to think about it. You have TV.
Yeah.
Then you have Sony. Then you have sub-brand of Sony is BRAVIA, and then the sub-brand of BRAVIA was Master Series, and it just got to the point that the enthusiasts, like the good people that we're usually here with, they hang on to that. I remember when XBR was like the Master Series of 2006, 2007. Yes, right. One XBR a year, and it came out. It was announced in October, came out in November, and everybody waited for it. Right, like that was the thing. But it starts to become so much in naming that everything becomes simplified, and they kind of let the product features speak for themselves.
That's true, because that's a good point, because sometimes people get so wrapped up in this is a name of a product, the next one has to be as good or better, succeed it, that you're almost discounting any other option. But realistically, and I know in my time with sales, I was like, I don't want you to go in and just see a number or a spec or a model and say, my cousin Tommy has this, so I want that.
Right.
is that the fit for you? That's what matters. What do you watch? How do you use it? What does your space look like? Everybody has different preferences. Everybody has their own eyeballs to make different decisions. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes you don't want to skew the perception because a lot of the people here are the premium people. Respect for that.
What was our last master? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I got distracted by your question now.
No. I did.
But to that point is we shouldn't discount something like a BRAVIA 5 or a 7 because they don't have the moniker of a Master Series where that doesn't meet my standards, when realistically maybe it meets and succeeds what your Master Series from 3 or 4 years ago had.
Yep.
You know, so
A90J was Master Series.
Was Masters.
Z9K Master Series. A95K Master Series.
I don't know if L was.
L was not.
L was not.
Not dictated as Master Series.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just.
But again, not because of the performance.
It's not performance. It's just the marketing branding.
Correct.
Yeah. I was just curious when I'm trying to, from a timeline standpoint, I'm just trying to figure out when that happened.
Call out to the Qualia. That was cool. I love that comment. I love that comment. That was so great. Let's see.
Bring the Trinitron name back. There's so much we can do with RGB from a naming standpoint that we'll see.
Interesting question. VioTuber. I love the name. I love that name. Hey guys, I have Sony's first RGB LED TV, the Qualia 005. Any chance Sony still services or has parts for it? Unlikely.
Hold on. Call service. Look, they may want they may want to put that in a museum, right?
That's true. They may have something sitting there. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's worth asking because the worst they can say is no.
Ask.
That would be pretty crazy. And if they do, let us know. I would love to hear that.
Yep, I love it. Michael Beckerman. Do any of the new 2025 Sony products get support for HDMI 2.2 support at all? No.
2.2 is still far. I don't want to say far off because technology changes so fast. But at least I don't foresee anything needing it in the next year, especially when it comes to a use on a TV.
Yeah, it's still heavy PC. It's leaning heavy for PC.
Yeah, right. At least at this point in time, but that will change as time goes on. There was something that I just saw I wanted to answer. Oh, Robert's question. I got confused because it said, "Do I need these new speakers?" I had to go. There's the question. The new rear speakers, are they really that much different than the RS3s? So the rear 8s, yes, they are.
They are beautiful too.
They
I
are.
went upstairs, like searching for them. I know they're there, but we had to go live, so I was searching. I should have went to the warehouse.
They sound good, and actually, FOMO. I don't know if you're still here. I was in the demo room while they were doing the demo. The difference between the RS3s and the rear 8s, and everybody that was on that couch. There was a couple of great people there, and FOMO was one of them. And just the response that like, holy cow, like that's it is a big upgrade in performance. You're doubling the amplifiers in them, so you're getting a lot more juice out of it. Now I don't want to discount the RS5s because those have a different solution in two respects, just to kind of throw that out there as well too. You have the battery operation of the RS5s, which is such a cool feature, but then being able to put them in different locations. In my space, I cannot do rears. In my space. The best I can do is side, which is kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. But technically,
it is a first world problem.
I know.
You should feel.
I can't enjoy the stuff that I'm selling to other people and showing them how great it is because I've heard it all and it's amazing. But having the ability, like if I could just put them out, I would temporarily for like a movie or doing some gaming, just to put them out on a stand and just move them out of the way. Such a cool thing to do. Plus they have height on them too, on the RS5s, which is super cool. But yeah, if you are comparing the RS3s to the rear 8s, smoke them.
Absolutely.
Smoke them.
Will's funny. And last week, you guys doubted me. The announcement was happening today at noon. LOL. Nice try. You didn't know.
Wait, where is this?
After SD. Yeah. Will you know, dude, you know. Like, let's just level where they are. We shot that video so long ago.
Yes, we did. In a really short amount of time.
Yeah, in a really short amount of time.
But he was asking a few hours before we were allowed to talk about this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We had to, because even though there are accidental, however information gets out there, we still can't confirm it, because the moment we confirm it, it's official.
Yeah.
Which is why we can't.
Yep.
It's the group of people here, like, we've been talking about products today, and I keep slipping up on model numbers and products that aren't announced yet. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I have to get this sorted out before we go live.
Dude, it was legitimately hard for me to say some of these model numbers. I was like, oh, no, can't say that yet.
Jeez, man. It's tough,
biting my tongue. But please understand that we had no intentions of lying to anybody or deceiving anybody, but we wouldn't be here if we said otherwise.
Yeah,
so.
and because of, and let me just take a second to say this, because you guys support of not just the Sony Connect channel, but also what we're doing here, it broadens and opens up doors of access. The number of emails we get for, like, we wish we had something like this specifically for Europe or another region. Tokyo recognizes you all's support of what we're doing here and our impact, and it is giving us more access. But with more access to information, we have to be very careful not to violate the trust that's been placed upon us. So.
We just got burned by multiple people.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
What did I miss?
A95L. All right, so Daniel Long, doesn't the A95L box have the Master Series written on it? I'm sure it does.
I don't own the TV.
Dan MKS, are you sure about the A95L? Pretty sure it was Master Series.
I don't have the TV.
Vedant says my A95L has Master Series printed in the box in bold.
So the person you should be blaming right now is Derek, because Derek has an A95L.
Can I make a comment?
No.
Didn't have the official box.
Oh, that's right.
So to be fair, did not have the box. Scrape for the pennies. Scrape for the pennies. That's what I had to do to make that.
We're not worthy of the ink on the box when we get products. That's what it is. Okay.
Hey, I had to do what I had to do to upgrade.
Did it fall off a truck?
Thankfully, no. Let's see.
Ronan asked the question, do the new rears work with the A5000? John and I,
it should, right?
All
yeah,
HTAs.
Right, because it would connect the same way that the RS3.
So the confusion with that question, John and I talked about that earlier. Is the video.
Yes.
Because in the video, we're only calling out A3000, bar 8, bar 9.
And those are the current models.
And that's because those are the current, that was, right. So yes, it does all HTA models it will work with.
Yep.
Except for HTA9 or HTA-X7. I have to cover my bases here. So
A-series soundbar. Yeah.
Soundbars.
Man.
There you go. Let's see what is too funny.
FOMO. I'm just gonna jump to that specific comment because it made me laugh. But since I'm not official, I confirm everything and seek forgiveness because I mixed creatine with avocados. I don't even know what that means or how to react to that.
Oh my god,
man!
Look, Jay is leaning in. First of all, Jay, how long did you guys shoot that video? 3 months? 4 months?
Was that? No, it wasn't that long ago.
It's this year.
We're in the 4th month of this year. When did we shoot that? End of January.
Yeah.
So 3 months.
We're in. It is literally April 2nd, end of January.
2 months.
It's 2 months.
Give me some latitude here, okay? All right.
Nope. Robert Conrad is out. Hey, say happy birthday. To happy birthday, Gavin.
Yes.
Happy birthday. I hope it was a great one. You're probably like 2.5 hours into this thing. He's not going to be watching still, but
shame on us.
Gavin, happy birthday.
Yep.
Hope it was a good one.
Jay asked FOMO to leak the release dates.
No, he's saying he did.
Oh. I thought it said FOMO leaked the release dates. It didn't say leaked.
He did.
There's no ED on there. It just says leak.
Hey, he's asking him to.
And FOMO said hush.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think he knows because I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't know what FOMO knows, and that's scary.
True. That's true.
That's scary.
Someone that he's more prestigious than us when it comes to this sort of thing. So we want to be like him.
Clearly. Did I really just do that with my head? Wow. I look like I'm sorry. I'm looking at old. Anyway,
Okay. But yeah, let's wrap up. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. You guys tired over there? You guys bored?
Go, just go.
Go,
You're
it's
good.
fine.
Do that. Do you know how many people have walked in with the vacuum cleaners while we've been in the middle of a show?
Just one that I know of.
Just one.
Yes.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, you made it sound like it's so common.
Dan, thanks a lot. Have a great launch,
God,
guys. Good luck.
We've
That's
been,
awesome.
I want to thank all of you for being here with us, and if you're still here and you managed this long,
Ask us some more tough questions.
congrats to you. We still have stuff to do tonight. You know that, right?
I don't want this to end.
I don't either, but
It's because Larry's delaying what we have to do.
I know, and that makes me stressed out. We got things to do, but this has been good, and it is sort of calming down. But again, we do really. Why did we change clothes from earlier? Yeah,
Smelled like outdoors.
yeah, that was a long time ago. I did change a few times since that was filmed. But I want to thank everybody for being here and hanging out with us and offering their opinions and their concerns. And we 100% are listening to every single one of them. Mm-hmm. And we will be sharing the sentiment with the TV business units and getting maybe some ways that we can kind of help kind of clarify some things for you if we can too. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, there is some awesome stuff that we have this year. I am very excited for this lineup. And granted, there might be, like we've talked about before, is you may want something that has A through M, and we only have A through J, features on it. So, I wish we could accommodate everything, but there are reasons that Sony does what they do, and I have 100% faith in the quality of the performance and the picture quality and all that good stuff that comes with getting a good TV, or in the case of audio, theater products too. What are you laughing at?
I know I'm being distracted. I know I'm
Yes.
distracting you, but Jay just nailed exactly what I've been thinking forever. Jay says end of January, while all the comments on a weekly basis of people telling you guys that the successor of the A95L is not QD and you guys had to hold it in, bruh. Oh man.
One more time.
Bruh. Listen, it has been so painful. It has been, and let's go back to CES, because that's actually when it started, when we did our live stream at CES. And at that point, we've known since before holiday what was happening, and those questions would come in, and it was like,
it was painful.
Oh man,
it was painful because there's a lot of things that we would love to share, but we have to respect, the expectations to keep our job. Ultimately, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But yeah. Man, FOMO, that hurts. See you at the after party in Hollywood. Yeah, well, guess who wasn't invited?
Yeah.
Yes.
These guys. So when you see some important people over there, let them know.
They deemed us not ready for actual in-person public.
Yeah, just this form.
Probably me. Ryan Torres, since you guys are answering questions, can I have some Sony swag? LOL. Email afterhoursupport@sony.com. It's tagged. Ask
Attention,
Derek.
Larry.
Ask Derek for some swag, and he will get that to you. That is assuming you are in the U.S. That we have.
Correct.
We have limits to where we can ship stuff. Derek has tons of things. He may stuff some products in the box. I don't know, but reach out to Derek, and he will take care of you.
Larry
Ask Joey B. He's here.
So Jay is saying that he has trust issues with us now, so we'll do
Rightfully
our best.
so.
We'll earn it back.
Yeah. But I think I will also say this though, Jay. If there is anybody in the world of Sony Electronics that will share probably one step over how far we're supposed to share,
You're not supposed to say that.
it's these guys. No, I'm going to say it. We haven't moved channels yet.
Yeah, and I think it's true. And I think that is one of the things that what our intention is to sort of push some of the boundaries a little bit to be. I don't want to say we're not going to do anything that we're not supposed to do, but to sort of
Speak for yourself. No kidding.
clarify some of the communications in a way that people can kind of You're like, okay, I get that. That's okay. That makes sense why that happened.
Right.
Because sometimes these things can spiral out of control on the internet.
Yes.
And the perception of something, well, they only did it because they don't care about the customers. I can guarantee that is not the case. We absolutely, I will say this out loud, speaking for Sony, we absolutely do care about the customers. I can tell you so far up the line that whenever we do something new, it is no, do this for the customer. It has to be this for the customer. And it's always that first. So, yeah. Good thought. I like that. That was good.
I thought. Sorry, I tried to stop my thought while I was in the middle of.
Very rich and a little bit compelling.
Yeah, sorry. That was a weird. That was one of those pauses before a video, right?
Yeah.
Just like,
Me
for real or less. I had a thought.
It's clearly gone. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna keep my job this week.
Okay, good. Yeah, do that. We got a lot to do over the next few months.
Yeah, Michael, I'd like to get someone from Google
That would be awesome.
on here to talk about. That'd be awesome because if nothing else, someone can ask them about Google Android 14 or whatever it is. And are we turning the lights on right now?
What happened?
Did someone
That would be
turn the light on?
No, all the aesthetic.
John, I don't know if yeah. Hang on, guys. The ugly lights have come on in the nightclub.
Yeah, right.
Like, do you see my makeup? If I thump my head,
think
it'll
it's,
just fall off. Just give us a second.
This is the
It's after hours.
yeah. They're like,
No, you know what this is? This is the you guys need to go home light.
yeah. We already had them off, so they couldn't turn them off even more.
Here we go. Here it comes. Nope,
No,
that's
that's
not
the wrong
it.
way.
That's not
That's
it.
the opposite.
There we go.
Okay, all right.
Because first thing I started doing was looking around thinking, is there any products that shouldn't be seen?
No, we're good.
Okay, I'm like,
Yeah,
wow.
stuff is completely out of frame. All right, we're good.
That was awesome.
Okay. Yeah. So I think let's call it here. Again, I want to thank everybody. Oh, I think the lights went out there too.
It's the lighting system.
So the system is
telling
wrong.
us that we need to stop, but it has been a long day. We still have stuff to do. But again, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for sticking with us, hearing us out. And again, feel free to communicate with us through the lives. Join us as often as you can. We would love to have you all here. Send us an email if you have something that's a little bit more in-depth, and we do also offer the one-on-one consultation program as well. If you want to talk to a Sony expert like that nerd, yeah, actually, he's like, "What are you doing?" And we can offer a 30-minute consultation to kind of discuss what is your best needs for you. And share that with friends, too, if you have some people that keep bugging you, because you guys tend to have a lot of information. So if you have family members, friends that are bugging you about stuff, you can send them our way, too, if you like. That said, any last parting words?
Yeah, Vedant, the cable management system on the BRAVIA 8 Mark II is very similar to A95L. Yeah, not a lot changed there. But yes.
Luca just joined in.
What's up, Luca?
Dude, we've been live for like 2 hours, man. But I do
marathon.
appreciate you joining us. I
thanks,
haven't seen you
Luca.
in here a while, so I hope you're doing very well.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can school us on some imaging knowledge at some point in the near future. And I hope your projects are going well as well.
Luca would have been proud. ECM M1.
That's
he would
true.
He would have
Had a little shout out to the imaging solution stuff.
Yeah.
So that said,
Actually, I have the FX3 lower thirds graphic.
Yeah,
That's
there you
the
go.
logo right there.
Yep.
I don't know what you just said.
What he said was in the lower third, he called out the fact that our primary A cam is shot with a Sony FX Cinema Line camera, and the lens is the 28 to 70 f2 Master shooting course at f2 because it's like fixed. F2.
Yeah, let us know if you approve,
Well, it
Luca,
could
on the
change,
look.
but-
And actually, you want to throw some B
Yeah,
cam?
go to the B cam.
Let
Check
Luca
this
take a
out.
look, and he can.
Look at this.
He can.
Look at that.
Nice.
Look at that. Yeah.
So let us know how it looks. Not me, but the look. And then we can help John. There it is. All right. Thank you so much.
right.
Be well. Be good to each other. Take care of yourselves. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one.
See you soon.
Take care.
Take care. Peace.
Thanks for watching.